Hello, everybody. Happy May 29th, 2020. My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show, where we talk all things talent in Connecticut. And on today's show, we have a junior on the Danbury football team. His name, Nicholas Smith. Nicholas, thanks so much for being able to come on today.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to be able to have another Danbury football player. I've had DJ on, I've also had your head coach, and now I have a third. And, I've heard a lot of great things about you from your head coach. He speaks very highly of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, I think before we kind of go into the Danbury side, as far as your first 2 years with the program, just tell me about kind of your background and what got you into playing football.
Well, growing up, I played football once when I was five, flag football, but it wasn't really my thing. I was more into baseball. That was really my main sport. Like, that's what I've been playing since I was young. I did play a little basketball, but I was born in Boston, and when I was two, I moved to Louisiana. And the football was big down there, but I wasn't really into it like that. But when I turned 9, I moved to Connecticut because that's where my mom's family is from. And actually, my first friend, Logan, he was the quarterback on the football team. And they were pretty good. He was telling me they were undefeated and all that. So he was like, just come out and play, like, you'll like it. And I didn't really want to do it at first. But then I went out there. I had fun. I liked it. I was playing tight end at first.
Hmm.
And then that's how it started. And ever since then, I just had a love for the game.
Do you think because you moved so much that, in some ways maybe it was a good thing because it kind of allowed you to appreciate the times that you had?
Yeah, definitely. Like moving so much, like I use sports to like kind of find my place
Hmm.
in like my new home. Like I would find like most of my friends, like all my closest friends are from my sports teams, so that definitely helped me.
What experiences? I understand you were young as far as when you went to Boston and then even went to, as you kept on moving. But what experiences can you take from that time before you came to Connecticut?
Um, some experiences I could take. I remember like the intense heat down south and like all the hard work and also like the emphasis on sports and how important that was and also like good morals and sportsmanship.
Do you think that, for example, you mentioned the intense heat. I mean, I'm sure the heat up here is nothing compared to down south.
Yeah, they it's really intense down there, and that's like conditioning is a whole different story.
Do you think that maybe in some ways, as far as off-season conditioning and such going into the season and even early parts of a football season, you're probably in better shape or even more so just used to the heat, whereas you have other guys who are huffing and puffing because the heat is just killing them?
Yeah, that's definitely happened. Like spring ball, they'll be like, "Oh, it's so hot." I'd be like, "This is nothing." Like,
Do guys look at you like you're crazy?
yeah, sometimes they're like, "You're not hot." I'm like, nah.
That's funny. Yeah, I love the heat, but even, there's a certain point where after 98, I'm like, okay, I need a little bit of shade.
Yeah, definitely.
So reflect on your first 2 years with Danbury, because I've watched some of your film, man, and you're a spark plug. You look like you've got some speed, man.
Thank you. My freshman year coming in, um, I definitely wanted to play varsity, and people were telling me that I could. And like I always had it in the back of my mind, but I wasn't really sure like if it would actually happen. And coming in, the DJ who you interviewed before,
Hmm.
I knew that he got called up to varsity as a freshman, so that like really got me thinking like I could definitely play some varsity. So the first like 4 or 5 games of the freshman season, I was playing freshman. Like we had a really good team. Like we had together and won a lot of games in the past before that in like
Hmm.
middle school. And I was doing really well. I had a lot of catches, and that's when Coach Thierry started to take notice. And and one day after I think it was our game against West Hill, I had like 2 touchdowns and a whole bunch of yards. And then I remember I was walking back to the locker room, and he stopped me, and he called me over, and he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna call you up to varsity. Like, we think you can help us." And I was ecstatic. I was excited to get up to the next level and try it, and I was like start practicing with them. And at first, it was a big change. Like the speed of play, it's way different from freshman to varsity.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Coach Yeri would always say, like, it's always different when you get thrown into the fire, like thrown into the fire in the game. And I didn't really understand that until my first game against Trumbull, and he put me in. And I just went in, and all I could feel was like the lights and all the attention. I was like, whoa, like he was being serious. Like this is way different. And actually, my first play on varsity was not very good. I went in for an extra point, and coach called a screen, and I dropped it.
Oh no.
I dropped it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I was mad at myself because I'm really hard on myself. So that was
Mm-hmm.
frustrating. So I knew that when I got back in, I had to get my first catch. So then I went back in. He called another screen. I caught that one, got a few yards, and then that was when I really started to like get the feeling. And then a few like 1 or 2 games later against Norwalk, he put me in for another extra point. This time he called a slant, and I actually caught that one and I scored. And I remember that everyone was really happy for me, like all the other varsity players, like they all ran over to me and like celebrated. And that was like a really like defining moment. Like I enjoyed that.
That's great to hear that your players were, they had confidence in you, and then so did Thierry, the head coach, because he saw you drop a screen, and it's not like he shied away from it. He came right back to you again, and I think that really shows the kind of confidence that he has, not just in you, but the entire program, that he's willing to continuously go after it again, no matter if it's a run play or it's a block or it's a play call. It doesn't matter. He wants to see you guys succeed.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing about Coach Yeri. He has 100% faith in us, and he trusts us that like we're gonna get done what needs to be done. And, like we're gonna do what has to be done.
How was it playing with a couple of Division 1 guys? I'm talking about Joyner, and I forgot the name of the other kid, and I apologize. He's going to Wagner.
No, Kyle Jackson.
Yes, how was it playing? Because with those two guys, and there was plenty of talented players that you played with your first 2 years, but I bring them up specifically because of just what they meant on the field, and they're going to high Division 1, especially for Joyner. He's going to the Big Ten at Minnesota, so those are talented players.
Yeah, like they definitely took a lot of stress off of me because for defense, I play outside linebacker. So either I would be lined up behind like 5 yards away from Ja or 5 yards away from Kyle. So knowing that they were there, like that gave me a lot of confidence because I knew that like I had a lot of help. I had like a really talented player next to me. And like we would always communicate, like me and Ja, like just on the field. He'd be like, I'm going inside, like come up, and fill the alley." I was like, "I got you." Like we had good communication. Kyle too, and like I knew that if the run came to them, they were gonna do it, and if they came to me to the outside, like they knew that I was gonna stop it too. So we had really good chemistry and trust in one another.
Was there a particular game, and I'm sure it was, it was different for both of them because I'm sure they had separate games where you were like, wow, but is there one game in your mind where you were just in the background and they made a play and you were like, how did they do that?
Yeah, for Kyle, I remember it was Bridgeport Central. We were like backed up. They're backed up on like their own like 5 yard line or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fights through one tackle, and then he fights through the other guard, and he like fights through the running back, and he gets a sack. I'm like, wow. And then probably for Ja, probably towards the middle of the season, like West Hill, like that's when I really noticed his like speed, like to get through the line into the backfield. I would just glance up and he's already tackling the quarterback or tackling the running back.
Yeah, those were talented players, man. And, you're a talented player yourself. And now you're going into your junior year. This is the time when, recruiters, and I understand with the whole virus and everything, it's kind of maybe paused things. But it always helps that, you put out film and you're trying to work as hard as you can to make sure that you're prepared. How do you, as far as, because I don't know what your plan is as far as what you want to do in college, but do you want to try to get looked at? Is football something you want to continue going into college?
Yeah, definitely. Like I've talked to a few college coaches, and like I'm really excited to get more into their recruiting process and really see like how far I can go.
Do you want to do division? I'm sure Division One is what you want to be, but as of right now, has it been Division Two coaches, Division Three coaches, even Division One coaches that you've talked to?
There's been a few Division One coaches and
Nice.
like a handful of Division Two coaches as well.
Very nice. Do they have they told you that they want you at offense or at linebacker?
Well, a little bit of both. I've had some coaches, like the Rutgers coach, say they likes me at outside linebacker, and there's
Hmm.
others who like what I bring to the table at receiver.
Now you mentioned Rutgers, and that's where Shiano is, and he was in the NFL for a number of years. Does that attraction interest you? Because NFL guy, connections, he knows the league. He can really, especially because he's a defensive guy, and if you come in just to say you play defense, he can really kind of show you what it is as far as an NFL scheming.
Yeah, that's definitely like really attractive to me that I can see like he has the experience, like he's been where I want to go, so I can definitely like use like he
Hmm.
can teach me a lot of things and get me to where I want to be like in the long run.
Well, Nick, we've just about run out of time, but I really do appreciate you coming on. I wish you nothing but the best of luck your junior year.
Thank you.
That'll
Thank you
wrap
for
things
having
up
me.
here on the. No, you're welcome anytime, man. That'll wrap things up here in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.